Modern Man. We are playing 5-colour humans in Modern this time around, and we are running up against Grixis Death Shadow in our first game here. This is our opening hand. It's kind of land heavy. I'm not really sure this was a keep. I ended up keeping it, but I think in hindsight it's probably a mulligan. 4 lands is way too many. But we're going to get the play of Vial on turn 1. Opponent cycles a Street Wraith at the end of our turn and cracks Polluted Delta into a Watery Grave. And opts. Let's put a counter on our Vial here. Trying to Kite Sail Freebooter, which is nice. So we're going to be able to play the champion into either Thalia or the Freebooter. Decided to go for the Freebooter. We'll get a look at our opponent's hand here. Got a +1/+1 counter on the champion as well. For some reason, I have no idea why. It's incredibly annoying. On MTGO, you get to see their hand, and then you get to see their hand and take a card. It shows you them twice, and they both go into the revealed cards section, which is quite annoying. So I always have to dismiss the first sight of revealed cards, and then you get to see them and take one. So yeah, it just makes the revealed cards section a lot more irritating. But yeah, so here's what we see. So opponent's got Angler, Snapcaster, Scalding Tarn, Fatal Push, 2 opts, and a Stubborn Denial. I think we're just going to take the Fatal Push here, take the removal, keep our creatures alive. I think taking ops does a whole lot. Stubborn Denial is fine because we are all creatures basically. Vial is pretty much the only card that they can hit in the deck with it. So yeah, we don't care about Stubborn Denial whatsoever. That's pretty much a dead card in this matchup. So yeah, that's good to see. We're going to take the Fatal Push. Obviously, Angler is a bit of a concern with our current hand, but I think otherwise we're doing okay. Not too worried about Snapcaster Mage, given that our opponent's not actually drawn any more removal, but that could be a problem for future. So Tarn comes down, Steam Vents, opt. Opponent passes. So take up the Vial. I said Vial first. We could have just cast Thalia, but I thought Vial might work better just because if our opponent doesn't think that their Thalia is dropping down, they might miss the opportunity to cast a Fatal Push or something here. So it wasn't really necessary, but just a bit of a trick, I guess, in the sense that our opponent might have not thought, oh, if they drop Thalia, then I can't actually cast whatever I was going to cast. So we actually know that he's got an opt in hand, so the fact that they didn't respond to the Thalia actually works out, and at least slowing them down slightly. So I say it wasn't worthwhile, but I think it did seem to buy us a little bit of extra time there, with our opponent not responding to the trigger of the Vial. Whereas if we cast Thalia, I think they would have cottoned on. So opponent plays a land, Fatal Pushes the Freebooter, getting back a Fatal Push into hand. But they don't have the mana to use it just yet, thanks to Thalia. Angler comes down. Fortunately, we draw a Reflector Mage, which is very fortunate for us, and is a very good card against Gurmag Angler. So we're going to get set for 6 here. Opponent has a 1. Opponent actually just wraps it up with the concession there. So yeah, that worked out very nicely. Reflector Mage is very nice in this matchup against Delve creatures, because obviously the cost is very steep. You have to pay it twice. Yeah, it's also just generally good at getting rid of their large creatures. Stubborn Denial, as I say, is bad for them in general, and they'll be looking to sideboard those out for sure. So yeah, that was a a good game one, and we'll see how we get on in the next game. Okay, so here we are just with a quick word on sideboarding against Death's Shadow. So, as I say, Reflector Mage is pretty good. I think we want Deputy of Detention in here as well. It can get removed, but obviously it's just a good way of clearing their board of large creatures. In terms of other cards, Auric Champion is pretty good actually. Is it just is a chump blocker for Death's Shadow, unless they have some way of giving it trample. I've forgotten the name of the card for this moment. Team of Battle Rage, that's the one. Yeah, so unless they have Team of Battle Rage, you can just chump with Auric Champion repeatedly. So that's fairly good in this matchup. In terms of cards we can bring out, kind of a tough call. I guess Phantasmal Image probably isn't its best, given that they've got their quite a lot of targeted removal. Volley is pretty good here. I don't think we really want to cut that. Meddling Mage, also pretty nice in general. Mance Rider seems nice because you can fly over the top of them, so actually a tricky call as to what to cut here. You could cut some number of Vials maybe, some number of Mantis Riders as well. And maybe you could afford to cut a Reflector Mage. I don't know, I quite like Reflector Mage. Seems good in this matchup. Yeah, not an easy call, I suppose. Maybe Freebooter is not its best. I think it's not bad in that it actually takes away a spell from them. But I suppose quite a lot of their spells are redundant in a lot of ways. So yeah, kind of a tough call on sideboarding. I definitely think we're bringing in some number of deputies and the champions. And we might want to consider Dismember as well, just as an answer, but we probably don't need all of those cards. As well as Bugler, we can just cut. I don't like cutting Bugler because it's one of our card advantage engines, but I think, yeah, that's probably actually a better cut than some of the other options. So maybe cut a couple of Buglers. Could maybe cut down on the Freebooters, or possibly 1 or 2 Vials, maybe, because that doesn't seem as important in this matchup. But yeah, we'll see. So we get on. I haven't got an exact idea, but I definitely think I want to be bringing in the champions, maybe some number of Deputy of Detentions, although Reflector Mage might just be better most of the time than the Deputy. So maybe we don't need those, and then Dismember is also a card that we can consider, but maybe not entirely necessary if we're bringing in Deputies. It's kind of one or the other, I guess. But yeah, I think those are my thoughts on sideboarding. Not a very clear idea, but I think that's how I'd be looking at it. Okay, so here we are with game 2. This hand is unkeepable because it has no lands, so that's a fairly easy mulligan. This hand's a bit better. Obviously we've got Sensu Thalia, and then we've got some answers to their threats in the form of Deputy and Reflector Mage. Still not sure on the Deputy, having thought about it. I did bring it in and it did come in handy, but it is a bit of a liability potentially. So the Grixis champion on top, which is nice. It gives us something to do on turn 1. Our opponent Thought Scours and then Fatal pushes the champion, which isn't ideal. We draw Dismember, so I did bring some of those in. I'm going fairly heavy on our removal here, I guess. I guess I must have cut some more of our 2-drops. I guess most Phantasmal Image, I guess, is probably the card it's most likely to get cut, although some number of Meddling Mages might have made sense as well. So our opponent is going to cast an Angler here, which works out very nicely into our Reflector Mage hand. I mean, we could Dismember instead, but I think the value of bouncing it back to hand is pretty good. Just a great tempo play. One plays a Death's Shadow, so we're going to look to Dismember that now. Then attack for 4. and obviously not in a position to grow the Death Shadow any further. One plays another Death Shadow, which is kind of annoying because we could have actually deputied and mopped up both the Death Shadows at the same time, which would have been pretty good. Opponent's light on land, so Thali's doing a lot of work here in terms of actually preventing our opponent from casting additional spells here or casting removal, which is nice. So we're going to get our opponent down to 4 here, and that wraps it up. So yeah, we did pretty well here. I don't think our draws were really all that insane, but we just got the right cards at the right time. Reflector Mage did a ton of work. Bouncing Delve cards is very nice, and makes it very difficult for them to recast them. And then we've got a lot of answers to their threats. So yeah, this match seems pretty good. I'd say we can go wide, which is kind of difficult from them as a suicide deck because they're going low on life, and then we can attack around them. And then we've also got answers to their threats, which are very effective, such as Reflector Mage, Deputy Detention. We've got Dismember post board, so, and Auric Champion as well as a blocker for any of the black creatures they run, and it also is protected from basically all their removal. So yeah, I think this is a rough matchup for Death Shadow in general. We just seem to have too many answers for them most of the time.